so we're nice and distanced. Bret, firstly, thank you for coming and joining us at Wales Comic Con. This feels like I'm miles away from here. She waved to you. Where did you start with a career like Bret the Hitman Hart's? I guess we did something over the summer last year with Nick Aldis, the former NWA champion, and he said if aliens came to Earth, the one match he'd show them to explain professional wrestling was you and Kurt Hennig from King of the Ring 1993. What do you think of that? Would that be a prime example of what wrestling should be?
Be okay with me. I always loved the match I had with Kurt Hennig, the King of the Ring. It was just a very, we had so many matches together, but that was like a different match. And so it was in a lot of ways our best match.
Yeah. It was the fact that obviously it played on the SummerSlam match from nearly 2 years prior. There was the pre-match promo. Kurt was babyface, but showed some heel mannerisms in the match. And then you get the big handshake at the end, and like the Attaboy going to beat Bam Bam.
Yeah, and the promo that we did before the match was, well, my dad was tough for you.
Yeah.
That was such a great promo because we both did it. We did the promo, and it was all spontaneous. And then after they did it, they said something screwed up, and you got to do it over again. And we were so mad because we loved how it was. And anyway, we had to repeat the whole thing a second time, and that was the one that aired. But it was like perfect, and we did it twice in a row, perfect. And that's how he was. He was perfect.
And that night you had like 3 very different matches with Razor Ramon, Mr. Perfect, and then with Bam Bam as well in the finals. And that was something that became synonymous with you in your singles career, is that you could work a different match with different people, whether it's like a Hakushi, a Yokozuna, 1, 2, 3 Kid, Owen. Those matches were always would steal the show, and you get the best out of those opponents. How did you do that? The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, as it were.
Well, you know, I think best way I can answer that is, you know, to be a great wrestler, you have to be a great wrestling fan first. And I was a great wrestling fan as a kid growing up, and so I looked at every match that I ever had. Like when I sat down with somebody, I can remember sitting with someone like Bam Bam and going, "This is what I think we should do." And then I would lay out the match to most of the guys I worked with. Once I became champion, even before I became world champion the first time in '92, going back to even Wembley, and maybe with the exception of Roddy Piper being, I always put together the whole match, like everything from the bell ringing to the bell ringing at the end was like one of my men. I would tell everybody, almost they'd look at me and go, "Where do you come up with all this stuff?" It's so perfect. But I would know what was good for a guy, what was believable. I can remember looking at something like Yokozuna and going, what would be believable? Like, you know, some things are not believable because you're too big. I remember, I can't put Yokozuna in a sharpshooter. Like, it just wouldn't make sense to try to flip him over. It's just not going to happen. But I did create a way to put the sharpshooter on him once he was already on his stomach. So you come up with ways to make things work. It's just really just like probably like little kids that when they play their action figures and they think of stuff that they could do. You know, it was kind of like that for me. I would just come up with ideas for matches. But, you know, I think there's a lot to be said about, you know, when you have a great idea, sometimes you don't need to do every idea in every match. Like you can take a good idea and go, like for example, the ending with Bulldog at Wembley Stadium in SummerSlam. I had that ending for years, and I never did it with anybody. In fact, one time I had a match, Jim Neidhart and I had a match with Brian Blair and Jim Brunzell at Killer Bees. And I remember I gave that ending to Brian Blair. And he goes, "I don't like it." And I remember like, "You don't like it? It's such a great ending. It's so quick and fast, and it's like, there's no way out." Anyway, so I said, you know what, I'm not gonna give that idea to Brian Blair, the Killer Bees. I'm gonna put that back in my pocket and keep it, and I'll keep it and use it myself. And so that's what we did at Wembley as an example. But sometimes you have a great idea, you don't have to. I think that's what I kind of dislike about today's wrestling is they seem like they do every idea that they ever did in their whole career in one match. And it's like, you know, sometimes you can do certain things with one guy, certain guys with another, certain things with other guys. You don't have to do every idea with the same guy. Like sometimes save an idea and do something special with the next guy or somebody you have never even worked with next. You know, I just think there's just some. It's hard to create and imagine wrestling moves all the time and create stuff and create believable stuff that people go, that's believable. And I think I was good at that. I was trying to make wrestling as absolutely as real as possible.
Yeah, every Bret Hart match looked real. It looked like a fight, whether it was you on the offense, whether it was you selling the moves. It was just, you watch that, and regardless of how we wrestling fans become smart as we get a bit older, it's like you lose yourself in Bret Hart matches to this day, where you just get engrossed in it still.